Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, near or far, high or low. You're listening, to the Coach D podcast. Listeners, today is extremely special. I know for the listeners, this is my very first visual podcast. I mean, I've been doing a podcast for 4 years now, and people's always been asking, D, like, we need some visuals to it. And today's special because I've got London's very own, Barking Abbey's very own Monique in the studio. But you know how we do on the Coach Do podcast. Let's introduce this athlete the right way. So let's intro the music. Listeners, this is the go-to destination for basketball insights, stories, and strategies that elevate your game on and off the court. Today, we have a very special guest joining us today. She is a professional basketball player for the London Lions in the Super League Women's, a former standout with the Miami Redhawks and Florida Lions, and a Barking Abbey legend who has led her team to a national championship in her junior year. In this episode, we're going to explore her incredible journey from the UK to the US and back, her thoughts on the importance of basketball IQ, her approach to skill development and what it's like playing for one of the top teams in the UK. Plus, we'll share a fun fact that Monique and I actually share the same birthday. We're going to get to that in a second. But listeners, please give a warm welcome, stepping on the court, Monique Esbrand.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I was super excited, one, for the fact that it's a visual podcast. And two, I'm a basketball geek, as I'm sure you are. I like to do a lot of research on my guests. And as I'm going through the stats you played in college, I get to the birthday and I see born 28th of October. Is that your birthday? That is my birthday as well. I'm a 91 born. And what made it, I didn't even realize this until I was checking your highlights against Nottingham. And you were number 7.
Yeah.
And that's my number.
Stop it. Stop it.
Listen. I'm about to break this say, look, like, when I tell you, timing is everything, listeners. Like I could have started this visual any day, the first year, but today it just felt super right. So before we even get started, Monique, appreciate your time. Thank you to the friend as well who's here with us, honestly. Before we even just get to your career that's just started, like, how was your physical and how was your mental?
Yeah, so I just want to start off by saying thank you for having me. Absolutely. Really honored to be here. Physically, just came off a game this last weekend, so I'm a bit beaten up.
Right.
But I can't complain. I've been in the gym, been doing my back rehab. So taking care of what I can, taking care of my body, controlling what I can control. Mentally, I'm great. I'm blessed. I'm very present. And that's something that I've been learning to be. Just be present in my moments, be present in my life, not trying to kind of foreshadow or trying to jump ahead or wanting to be where I want to be, but just embracing the now. And so for that, I'm very grateful. I'm very thankful, and I'm listen, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm 10.
Oh, yes, longer. And like, when we kind of speak about your career, I kind of like to backtrack with some of my players, and I'm just a guest I have on the pod. Where was you, and who was the person who put a basketball in your hands for the very first time?
Oh, you know what? I remember this one. I remember like it was just okay. Okay, so let me set the scene.
Yes, please.
So I'm in year 6, going into year 7.
Okay.
I'm at my secondary school taster day. I went to Greg City Academy.
Okay.
And so we were sitting in the hall, and I remember we was doing a test or an exam, I think whatever entry exams you do to go into year 11, so they can figure out what set you're going to be in. And a PE teacher came up to me, and he said, one of your friends said that you're interested in sports, that you do all the sports at your school. So I just wanted to give you this leaflet and see if you was interested in playing basketball. And so I was. I'd done every sport under the sun since I was 3. Starting the swimming.
Yeah.
And so took the leaflet home to mum and I said, Mum, yep, add this to the list of things and places that you need to be and the places you need to take me. Right. And yeah, it started from there. And then the first club I ever played for was Barking Angels.
Yes, that's like a illustrator.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of legends came out from them. Exactly. So it was actually Dan Bowmaker that actually recruited me and yeah, brought me onto the team. And so I was just playing for the school team. And in year 7, how old are you? What, about 12?
Yeah, 12.
Yeah, 13. So 12. But then I was still very much into all different sports, swimming, football, basketball. So I didn't really take it as serious. Like it wasn't like the number one for me until I would say I got to year 9 and it was like, okay, we're going to national championships every weekend up this weekend. We're making it far in all these different sports. Okay, what's the one that you're actually going to settle down with and you're going to like, pursue and take serious? And it happened to be basketball for me.
So would you say, Gus, because I've had a lot of players and athletes, especially at your level, say it was a benefit, the fact that they dabbled in so many different sports, because, for example, you might be doing gymnastics where you're really working on your agility and balance. When you're going for 11 for 7 things, you've got that advantage. Was you even aware that maybe you naturally had better balance or footwork or coordination compared to some of your other peers or students, or it didn't really?
I was always told by coaches that I was very athletic. So I found I'm a fast learner as well. So I found kind of just dabbling in different sports easy. We talk about transferable skills as adults. And so I didn't know then, but now looking back, I do see it as it was just going from sport to sport was easy because I was taking skills from each sport and just applying them where I saw fit. So yeah, I would say, yeah, it was that and my athleticism.
Okay. And I feel like every player, whether it's football, basketball, tennis, there's that moment where the training starts to kick in and you really have that love for the game, but also it's that moment where I'm nice, like basketball. Where was that moment for you, Monique, where you was like, I'm actually nice at basketball?
Okay, you know what? I'm going to be real.
Yeah, please.
I've never had that moment where I'm like, I'm nice.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I've had moments where it's like, okay, you know what? Like, you're actually good with this. You can go somewhere with this. Especially when I had coaches, when I was at Barking Angels, I was playing up.
Yeah.
So like when I was under 14s, I was playing under 16s and under 18s. This is how I met my lovely friend here. My sister, I should say.
Yes.
And so it was always, okay, like you have potential. However, it was never that, oh, you're nice, like you're top of the class. I would say I was never top. I was always I would see myself as a role player.
Okay.
Yeah. I would see myself as a role player, which I feel like it can have positives and negatives, but for me, I would say there was a lot of positives that came out of that because now it's just, it ignited that fire in me.
Yes.
It taught me to be a dog because now there's always something that I have to work towards.
Right.
I played with greats. Like I played with I played with so many greats in my class alone. Savannah Wilkinson, in my class. I'm playing with people like Imani Whittinson. Like I've played with greats. I'm playing with Janice Marcana. I've played with people who I've seen people go before me,
Right.
and embark on this journey to the US. And so being a part of a class like that, it humbles you. It keeps you hustling. You know what I mean? Yes, it keeps you humble. And as I said, it just ignites that fire. It sparks that dog in you. And so for me, it's always like there's more work to be done. Right. I never feel like, oh, you know what, like you're nice at this, like okay, we can chill. No, it says to me, there's still so much more to be done. But don't get twisted though. Yeah. I like myself over it. But yeah.
Nice. And it's funny because I was actually having this conversation with a previous guest, Shad's Kyla. Like, she was kind of highlighting what separated her was the fact that you have some players, especially in their player development, when they are coming from being the number one option offense, then they move to college, which we're going to speak about shortly, where they play with other number one options. It's quite hard to adjust or even take a back seat, you know. So for yourself, how did you, because it seemed to me like you had quite the grounded perspective on, I'm nice, but there are also other players who are just as nice, and there's no friction. I can still play within that offense. Like, where did that mindset come from? Or
so I would say it's definitely just been something. I'm not gonna lie. When I was growing up, confidence was always something that I used to struggle with. So putting myself first, believing in myself. I'm my own worst critic. Like, ask any coach that's coaching there. Yeah, I used to doubt myself so much. I used to be so hard on myself. Whatever stat line I would have, it would never be enough for me. And it's funny because most recently, one of my friends described me as Draymond Green.
oh,
And let me tell you, just so you why, not the physical elements, not the aggressiveness, but the dog that he has in him. He is the catalyst of the team. The team makes the team go.
Yep.
He's just great at everything.
Yes.
He likes to get his hands dirty.
Right.
He's like the glue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He likes to rebound, he scores, like he defends, he does all of that. It's not just one thing. You can't just pinpoint me to one thing. You can't just say, oh, she's a scorer, but she can't play defense, man. Oh, all she's gonna do is play defense. She's not gonna get a bucket, or she's just gonna rebound. No, it's I like to get my hands dirty with everything.
Right.
And so I feel like that. When I heard that comparison, I was really honored. When I was younger, I never wanted to be that person that wanted to be great in everything. I wanted to be the scorer. And I feel like a lot of people have that mentality. If you think about it, when you're speaking to people, when you ask them, oh, how did your game go? Did you have a good game? If they scored 8 or 10, they're like, oh, I didn't have a good game because of however many points they got. They're disregarding the rebounds they got. They're disregarding their hustle. They're disregarding all the other things, you know what I mean, that they're doing to implement and help the team with. And so as I've gotten older, my mindset and my perspective has definitely changed with that. So
This is just, I love this conversation. So can you kind of walk us through your basketball journey from Barking Abbey, which you spoke about earlier in the call, to playing at the college level, you know, playing for Miami Redhawks and Florida Lions? Like, what was that like? Because it's a hell of a transition. I've heard like this. Shout out to Kyla Nelson. She was like, Coach, I thought I was fit. My first practice overseas, she was like, the fitness level is on a whole other level. So for yourself, what was that transition like?
yeah, no, it was hard. I'm talking about coach said put 4 bins in each corner of the court. Go, if you need to throw up while we're running, go throw up, come back and run. And that's how hard it was. That's how hard it was. Wow. Oh yeah. But kind of going back to what I said before, is always not always being the number one on the team. I would say in terms of that, it wasn't really hard transitioning, going into college, feeling like, okay, I'm the superstar now. I'm having to learn how to play with other superstars. As I said, I've always felt like I've been that role player. And so just fitting in how, I saw fit in how the team needed me. But yeah, going from Barking Abbey was a time. I'm just going about Barking Abbey. They bred winners. Yeah, big time, absolute. They bred winners. So being able to come out from there and being able to have a winning mindset, to go over to the US. I was first at junior college. Yeah. For 2 years. Okay. So that was a whole nother journey in itself. Talk about get it out the mud. Like that's literally you have to want it to be at junior college, because you don't necessarily have as much facilities that you might have being a Division 1. There might not be as much coaches. You have to, it's literally just you, and then let alone the college, for the most part, if you're at junior college, is in the middle of nowhere. Yes. So all you have is basketball, eat, sleep. So that was a whole journey in itself, but I loved it. It motivated me to kind of want to get out and go to Division 1. Right. So going from JUCO to Division 1 in my junior year, it was hard. It was tough. It was tough. The transition was very tough because now it's NCAA, Division 1 years old, and so now I'm making a jump from having no trainers to having trainers now. I'm having extra basketball coaches. We have counselors. We have everything under the sun. You have locker rooms with snacks and everything in there. But you also have a different dynamic of players. I'm gonna say, for me,
Yes.
Division 1, all that glitters isn't gold.
Well, yeah.
That's my view.
Why do you mean that? Because that's a powerful saying.
Because when you're younger, before you get to America, you're I wouldn't say sold a dream, but you're given this dream. You're poured into by coaches, and America is like, it's like the be all and end all for you when you're younger. It's like, I have to get to America. If I don't, like, that's it.
Right.
And so you go through the recruiting process. You have all these coaches speaking to you and recruiting you and telling you, okay, this is what it's going to be. And I mean, think of it as a car salesman. Like, they want you to buy the product. They want you to buy the car. So they're going to sell you all the best parts of the car. They're going to sell you all the things that the car can do.
Right.
But they might not necessarily say, okay, you know, that the car lacks in this part, but you can do it, you know? Just they will say and do anything for you to get the car. So I felt like that was my experience with Division 1. I felt like I was recruited and I was told certain things. So when I got there, it was hard because living out those things and thinking and having expectations that weren't met, it was like, okay, how do I navigate this? How do I go about this? Which now takes a toll on your mental and your confidence. And when you're at Division 1, it's a business.
Yeah.
If you're not performing, you're not playing. If you're not performing, you might not even be poured into as much as the other players that are playing. And so that's what it was for me. My confidence was knocked. And so I don't feel like I was getting as much out of it as I could. And when I was younger, I would say my mindset was very different because at that age, you're what, 19, 19, 20, 21. Yeah. You're still learning, you're still developing, you're actually figuring out how the world works.
Right.
And then being that far away from your family, from people that care about you, now you're having to do things by yourself. Yeah, it's a FaceTime away, but there's only so much you're gonna understand because you don't know Sally, Susan, and Tom, who are meant to. They're like, now I'm having to give you the backstory of Sally, and Susan, and Tom before I can get to the nitty gritty of what's really hurting you.
Yes.
And so just navigating that was definitely hard. But then from Division 1, I went to NAIA for 2 years. Loved it. Best decision of my life. Wow. Best decision of my life. And I was underestimating it because it's like, I'm going from NCAA to the NAIA, like, what's people gonna think? Right. Back then it was, I cared about what others thought, what others' opinion of me. And it wasn't so much about me. But when I went, I was like, you know what, let me take this chance. I went and it was so great. I'm talking about, I had coaches. We had less facilities again, but we had coaches that poured into us. We could just go out there and play and be free. Built a family. I listen, let me not lie, all 3 schools I've been to, I've had people that I've taken away that I still speak to and go and visit.
Nice.
Every year.
Yeah.
But yeah, NAIA was just different. I loved it. And my last year there, my master's year, I actually was a grad assistant and we won the championships.
Assistant coach, I see you the end of their news. I don't know.
It's just, listen, I should want the ring to show. But listen, the coaching is definitely something that I would love to dabble in. But that's it, game.
Yes.
That's end game. So yeah, that was my journey.
Man, so would you say, kind of before we speak about just what you learned from a winning environment at Barking Abbey, like when you look at the college level, what tips or just even how should players approach, like you said, not everything that good is his goal. Now, some people will get 15 deals and be like, I'm going to take the first one, but they have to even ask themselves, well, what are my requirements? Like, what's the facilities line? Do the coaches pour into their players? They're full of self. In hindsight, 2020, and just giving advice for some of the players who are fortunate enough to be in that position. What are important requirements or questions a athlete should be asking before taking a decision to play D1 or even D2 college basketball?
Yeah. So starting off with the basics, I would definitely say check the location. Is the location right for you? Because location plays a big part. Are you somewhere where you see that you can fit in your environment, or you can make something of your environment? I would definitely say location. But then getting down to the nitty gritty, talk to potential teammates that you may have. Also, talk to team members of the team that is recruiting you. See what they have to say. And I would say talk to a wide variety of the team so you can get a feel for how the team is, how different people feel. And then whilst talking to coaches, I would say ask them what their philosophy is. Ask them kind of what the culture is, what the culture they carry is. Without trying to pry too much into their personal life, I would say speak about personal things, because ultimately college is your development phase. That's it's gearing you up to go into the world. So yeah, you are there to do a job, you are there to play a game, you are there to put up numbers, but you're also there to grow, you're also there to develop. What's next after college? How are they going to help you grow as a person? One thing I always take away, I love Dawn Staley. Loves her line coach. I love her.
Game-changing coach.
And just
breaking the records, out the lineup.
Exactly. One thing she said that she does when she recruits her players is she asks them about their family life. How are they with their parents? Do they respect their parents? Because the way someone respects their parents is going to show you how they will respect you. Because why is someone not going to respect their parents and have respect to you, someone that they don't know from Adam?
Right.
So she likes to delve into the family life, see how the family life is. Even not saying that it has to be the perfect nuclear family. Yeah, mom, dad, brother, dog. No, it doesn't have to be. You can come from a broken home and you can still be respectable. True. I come from a single parent household. My mom is my rock.
Yes.
Like it's in very close knitted family, and so I definitely see where she's coming from with that, because when you have that respect, you're willing to learn. You're more coachable.
Yes.
Now you don't only have respect for others, but you have respect for yourself. And having respect for yourself, you want to grow, you want to develop. You're willing to listen and take from others, not just from coaches, but from your teammates. So I would definitely say players talk to coaches and try and delve into the personal life. How do they deal with things? And definitely see what above and beyond the basketball, see what extra resources there are on that campus or at that basketball team that will learn for you. Do they have, I don't know, counseling resources that you may need? Do they have extracurricular resources that you might want to do outside of basketball? Because one thing we do is we get so wrapped up in basketball that we can forget that, okay, what's life outside and after basketball, right?
Yeah.
It's what are you going to be doing after? I know it's cliche and I know everybody says it. Yeah, it's basketball's not forever. Like, there, graduate. What's next? But no, seriously, what is next? What else do you love?
True.
Because a lot of people, you don't know what can happen, injuries, or you could just fall out of love with the game. But when it gets to that point, what do you have to fall back on? What do you love? Do you know yourself?
Right.
So use that time to get to know yourself.
Right. Absolutely. And kind of just reflecting on your time at Barking Abbey, which and still is a powerhouse. What did you learn about just winning a national championship, especially in your junior career? And what did it teach you about success and teamwork?
Yeah. Oh, listen, Barking Abbey, you know, if I could go back, if I could go back, yeah, and do it all over again, I really will, because that winning culture, it, you know, I remember more about the people than the winning.
That's powerful.
Ask me, I don't know, ask me about a game I had.
Yeah.
I can't really tell you anybody's stat line. I can't tell you my stat line. I can barely remember, but I can remember how the team was. I can remember how the culture was. I can remember the relationships that we had with each other. So kind of coming from that winning environment, it just taught me that it's really the relationships that you have with people.
True.
That is really the core, and that's really most important. That's going to help foster a winning environment.
Right.
Because I've been on teams where we're not necessarily a family, we're not necessarily close-knit. Yeah. You see the result of that.
True.
And even if it is that you are winning, are you happy you're winning? Are you enjoying yourself when you're winning? Do you know what I'm here? You come at it, when it's all said and done, you come away with memories. I literally just told you, I go back 3-4 times a year to America to see my different friends in different states, because it's what we built with each other within that winning environment.
Right.
And now that I'm at London Lions, I'm working with people who I used to go to Barking Abbey with, who I've won championships with. And it's because of those relationships and chemistry that we built whilst we was on that winning team, that we've been able to go on our different journeys and come back, and everything's like we was just on the team yesterday.
Right.
So definitely taking away that, you know, having relationships and having like building a family and closure within that.
What is it like? It's one thing to wear a jersey where you're representing a college, or, you know, especially at the US level. What is it like putting on that London Lions jersey, considering that you kind of started the game so young, and maybe not, when you're at that age, you're not aware of the possibilities of where you'll be in the next 5 to 10 years. So what is it like for you now wearing that London Lions jersey? And it's like there's like a new face to the team, and I mean the legacy that they've done so far leading up is amazing, honestly, both from the men's and the women's side. So what does it mean to you, Monique, to represent the London Lions in the Super League Women's?
It's surreal. It's very surreal. It's a blessing.
Absolutely.
It's something that I've prayed for. This is where the passion comes in. You know, I'm very rooted in my spiritual and in God, because me alone, I don't know how I would have put on a jersey. 2 years, I haven't played in 2 seasons.
Okay.
So I graduated from Florida Memorial in, what are we in now, 24. So I graduated in 22.
Okay.
And then 23, because that last year I didn't play, I was coaching.
Okay, got you.
And then a year after that, I was coaching the UEL D2 women's team.
Nice.
So it was when I was coaching the UEL D2 women's team that I was like, I'm not done. I'm not done playing. Out of nowhere, that fire reignited, and I'm like, a vision was put on my heart, and said, I'm not done.
Yeah.
I don't know what I need to do to get back into it, but I'm not done. And so I spent that summer, months leading up to it, just leading up to this season, trying to figure out, okay, where am I going to play? What am I going to do?
Right.
And so it was definitely, it was a process. It was a process that had to take a lot of faith and patience. And so it was just, it was something that, listen, there was more tears. There was more tears than smiles. But just being able to kind of figure it out in the end and trust in the process, and being able to be recruited by people who, as I said, I built relationships with, when I was younger, I played with. Just being able to see it come full circle, and then being recruited to a team that has built such a legacy for themselves. It feels so surreal to this day. Whenever I put on a jersey, whenever I suit up for game day, it's just I feel such an overwhelming gratefulness and thankful for this opportunity to go out and be able to rep London Lions and just give more for the game.
Right.
So
When it comes to basketball IQ and skill development, it's a conversation that even us as coaches have, even at the pro level and speaking to players like yourself. How would you describe basketball IQ? Because commentators are speaking about it, and LeBron, Giannis Taurasi, Candace Parker, they have great basketball IQ, but for athletes who are maybe just getting into basketball or they kind of want that competitive edge for yourself playing at the pro level, what does having good basketball IQ mean to you?
guys, study your film.
Thank you.
Study
Yes.
your
Yes.
film. Yumma.
That part. Yeah.
I hold my hand up and I say, sorry, coach, for all the times I didn't watch film and I made the team run, because now that I have such a different mindset, playing the game just off your skill and your talent is one thing, but playing the game once you understand it and you know how to move and react off people's reactions just makes it so much easier. It's like you're having to work less.
Yes, exactly.
It's like having to work less. And I don't know if God made it that I coached 2 seasons before I returned to play, because in those 2 seasons, I got to see a whole lot and learn a whole lot just through watching and coaching players.
Right.
I feel like X's and O's and IQs is so important, because playing without it, it's like you're playing by yourself for yourself, because now you only know what you're going to do.
True.
You don't know how to react to your teammates. You don't know what your teammates are going to do, where they're going to move, how they're going to move. Basketball has so many moving parts to it.
Absolutely.
And whenever I'm talking to my teammates or coaches that or teams that I've coached previously, I describe everybody on the court as being on a string. I describe everybody on the court as being on a string. Reason why I say that is because whether you're on defense or offense, the person who has the ball and is moving, you need to be able to move with the ball. True. You need to be able to move with the ball. So if you think about it, if you're connected by your string, you want that string to stay tight. Right? Yes. You don't want there to be slack in the string, or it can't be too tight that it snaps. Right. It has to be just the right amount of stave. So, but you're only going to know how to have that movement by watching film. By developing your IQ, because now when your teammate is driving baseline, you know where to move, you know where to backdoor, you know where to cut. With then driving middle, you know where to space off.
Right.
But this is something, it's something that's hard to teach if you don't have IQ, because now you're just trying to teach it blindly. Yes. So there's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can imagine. Right. Because you're going off what your own imagination is telling you. But no, guys, watch your film. It makes it so much easier. Now now the game's coming to you. Right. Now the game's creating for you instead of you having to try and force it and create for yourself. Yes. Literally just working together, knowing, okay, this person's gonna drive here, let me backdoor, and then now you have the pass, and it's like, I don't even know how that happened. Literally, I get those moments to this day, like how. But it's just because of having spatial awareness. Yes. Knowing how to move, studying the game.
Right. And that's something shout out to Coach Hugh, like he's always recorded all of his games. And now that I was the longer the league, I record the game just so that we're at a stage with the London League where they're still learning the game. And it's one thing for me to say, you missed that backdoor cut. Right. But when they visually see it, oh, coach, I see it now, and like, I can't take this credit. Shout out to Coach Hugh again. He said, when you're telling players to watch a game, watch it from 3 perspectives. Watch it from a coach's perspective, a player's perspective, and most importantly, a referee's perspective. Because the amount of players who think that's not a foul, that's not a charge, because they don't really lack the knowledge. But at the same time, I think it's a coach's responsibility to highlight, if you want to be a great player, you need to understand the rules of the game, So great point you made there. And when it comes to any steps to improve your basketball IQ, what are those steps and how do you apply those reads during games?
Yeah, so one thing I do personally is I just watch a lot of basketball, just individually, but it's only been as of this year, that I've this summer that I've started watching. I started watching the WNBA. I always watched NCAA just on and off, more so because of the people and the friends that I have that I'm playing, but being more intentional with what I'm watching and how I'm watching.
Okay.
I also like to watch individual players who I like to see, who I think my game might be similar to, or who I like to take something from. Where one person I really love how they play, Juju Watkins.
Yeah.
And I love her. Yeah. I love how she plays. You know what? Because I've never thought of myself as a flashy, shifty player. I wanted to be that once.
Not after the highlight I saw just the other day. Hey, so you've been over there.
No, but that's come with practice, girl. That's good. Actually, that's come with studying the game. That's come with knowing when to and how to. And so, yeah, I never saw myself as someone like that.
Yeah.
And so I used to practice a lot of ball, even though it's still crucial, a lot of ball handling and the moves itself, but not practicing, how to and when to hit those moves. And so by watching players like Juju Watkins, seeing how she changes speed, how she slows down, how she makes her reads, makes her decisions, it helps a lot. But that's just someone that I identify with.
Right.
So I would definitely say, one piece of advice is find somebody who you identify with.
Yes.
Find a team that plays similar to your team and study it. Be intentional with how you're watching.
Yes.
I like to watch the games on replay because I like to go back.
Yes.
If I see something that I really like, I'm hitting the 15 seconds or the 10 seconds on it. So they're all like, oh wait, how did she do that? No, and I'm looking at the footwork, I'm looking at the hand placement, I'm looking at the change of speed. And my notes app that's filled, I'm so detailed. Okay, so she put the right foot in, but it's and she went this, yeah. It's just being intentional with how you watch.
I see. You even just touch upon my next question. Like, what skill sets do you believe are crucial for the modern basketball player?
Yeah.
Like, especially in the women's game.
Yeah. I would say acceleration and deceleration. I would say
It's a different that because that is high level. Yeah.
because I never knew that that's what makes the move. So as I said, I'm working on my ball handling, and I'm trying to do the moves, but I'm doing it all at one speed. And so my defender's guarding me and they're just able to stay with me because I'm not changing speed. But knowing when to change my speed, when to slow down, when to hit them with a fast cross.
Yeah.
That's what really gets them because you're playing with the defender now. Now they think, just like with Hezi, now they think that you're going to stop or they think you're slowing down, but then hitting them with that change of speed,
Right.
That's what gets the move. That's what makes you shifty.
Yeah, facts.
So I would definitely say acceleration and deceleration is one thing that has been crucial in terms of me learning like moves and
How, like, it's just so dope that you play at the high level because I can really get your mindset on what is your daily training habits just to maintain peak performance. Like, how structured is it? I mean, considering you said you have a notepad where you're looking at the right foot placement.
Yeah.
Just for kind of players who are aspiring to play like yourself, how should they approach training? Like, rather than just taking shots, when you look at your session, I can tell it's very detailed. You know how long each one is and how it relates to the game that's coming up. How do you structure your training sessions and your workouts?
Yeah. So on the court, I'm definitely working on things that I do within the game.
Okay.
Before I used to work on moves that I never really ever used or ever used to do. And so, yeah, I can do them, but I'm not using them in the game.
Right.
So it doesn't help. But I would study my film. So I would watch my film. I will see where am I coming off screens? Where am I cutting to? Where am I receiving the ball first, most likely?
Yeah.
And how am I coming off the screens? What moves can I use to get me free? What moves can I use to get me open? What are my go-to moves that I do without without thinking about it.
Right.
And those are the things that I really study the most, and then I implement those to on the court, my on the court training sessions. So a lot of our plays were coming off the wing, and we have ball screen action on the wing. So a lot of my training sessions will be all screen. I'm using all screens. How am I rejecting the screen? How can I use the screen? Okay, when I come off the screen, what decisions am I going to make? Who am I looking for? Where's the triangle? What am I looking for? You know, where's my post player? Where's the running bills? Yes.
Speak on that. Yeah, I'm always grateful when pro players are like, skills can only take you so far, but just be a student of the game. Even just how you speak about, and you like, it's not work to you, it's fun.
Yeah.
Speak about the triangle there, because that is something that is key. Why is that spacing, or why did you mean that when you said it?
Yeah. So definitely I refer to it as a triangle, because if you look at it, if you draw it up on the board, you and your teammates are making a triangle when you come off a ball screen. So you come off the ball screen, you have the misdirection. So that's the player that will follow you, that's following behind you, and then you have the player that you're dribbling towards, and then you have your post player. So you guys are all making a triangle, and it's important to know, because this is where the read and react comes in. When I'm coming off the ball screen, where are each of these players going to be? Because if my defender stops me, who can I hit in that triangle?
Yes, right.
Am I hitting the post player? Is it that the post player is open? Bro, she's covered. Am I hitting the misdirection? Am I stopping? Am I pivoting? Am I hitting that person? No, she's covered. Or am I hitting the person that's on the wing who I'm at the top, who I'm dribbling towards? So it's important to know where your teammates are going to be, because that helps you. That gets you out of trouble. That helps you know how to move. That helps you know where to pass the ball.
Right.
And it sets your teammates up perfectly to score also, because if they're moving in accordance to you, then they know, okay, when I get the ball here, it's my shot, and now the whole team's ready to rebound. So it's just, these are all IQ things. These are all things that are outside of skill, that's important to know, that just helps the game just be a bit easier to read and play.
Right. And just with some of the personal insights, this is the fun fact. I said this at the top of the podcast, that we share the same birthday. So it's Scorpio gang, you and them. It's like, do you think there's a connection between Scorpios and competitiveness on the court? Hesitation, okay, yeah, you know that.
We're such fiery people anyway, just in general, and straightforward, and we wear our heart on our sleeve.
Yeah.
We don't hide our emotions. We're very passionate in everything we do. So that passion, it just translates on the court.
Absolutely.
I wish I could be nonchalant. I wish I could be nonchalant when I'm playing.
Right.
But my teammates, I'm a sore loser.
Oh,
I'm a sore loser, and I hate to say it. They just she knows. I am a sore loser, boy. Listen, knowing how to translate that into passion and fueling you and the people around you is what drives us. But yeah, Scorpios, we just
Max. You said 100%. And as we kind of come towards the end of the podcast, just want to speak about the advice and legacy you want to leave behind. And the last part, I'd like to follow my guests, you the quick hitter segment. When it comes to just advice and legacy, what advice would you give to young players who are aspiring to play at the college level or even beyond at the professional level?
Know who you are. Be true to who you are,
please.
Because when you know who you are and you're true to who you are, you will never lose. You will never do it wrong, because you're just being you.
Yeah.
Do not lose your identity. Please do not ever lose your identity, because the minute you lose your identity and you try to start doing it somebody else's way, you lose your confidence.
True.
And what do coaches say? The game is how many % mental?
Yes.
It's like 90% they say mental and 10% skill.
So true.
You can ask me, when I was my least confident, you can put me in a one-on-one and have me do all the drills, and I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. But is it translating on the court? No, because I don't have the confidence to do it.
Yeah. That's right.
But that's because I lost my identity. Because I thought it was desirable to be other players because that's who the coach's favorites were. No, now I am 26 years of age, and I know myself, and I know what I have to offer. I will never, ever, ever go back to being that person I was, because now I'm not afraid to learn. I'm not afraid to do it wrong. Because when I do it wrong, I'm gonna go hard doing it wrong.
Yes.
But I'm also gonna be coachable. I want to be teachable.
Yeah.
Do not ever lose yourself.
You see, because it's funny because I say the same thing. Like a lot of the things you say, it's like I'm saying as well. Like focus on what you can control. And the biggest message, even this year, to be honest with the listeners as well, knowledge of self has been super key for myself. And even separating Coach D and Demetrius.
Yeah.
As much as I love basketball, I look at and COVID kind of showed me like when there was no basketball, there was nothing to watch. I was like, wait, okay, now that you have no basketball, what do you do? I kind of almost forgot what I like doing. So for yourself, what activities do you do that keep you grounded?
Yeah.
And is there a difference between Monique the player and Monique the person?
Fashion.
Oh, as you can see, by the way, as you can see, yes, absolutely.
I love fashion. That's something that I never knew that I loved until I actually stopped playing basketball. When I graduated from America, because that's when I was in that state of what's next?
Right.
Like, where do we go? And when I was in college, I never got to express myself as such. In terms of just being myself, down to what I would like to wear, just who I am, what's my identity outside of basketball. So now, I like to dress up. I like to, I love to dabble in fashion. I would love to walk in a show, to do things more fashion.
Yeah,
that's one thing we're definitely praying for.
Yes, absolutely.
But also, I love to yap. I love to talk. I love to talk. Me and my friends love to talk so much.
Yeah.
But we pour into each other so much. So it's constructive.
Yes.
And so I want to get to a space where I can bring basketball, fashion, and my yapping in one
together.
all together. So the fact that this is the first podcast that I've ever been on, I am so extremely grateful, because this sounds right, and I have definitely prayed for, and I feel like it's so important to give back and to give insight